Yes, good morning, guys. How did the paper go? Huh? Ashwin? Huh? It should have. It was, I think, easy only. Let's see. Okay. Few questions in the beginning were quite factual. Okay. So let us have a look at this. First question. Consider following statements. Now this is easy. Union budget referred to as the annual financial statement. That's the first thing I told you when we revised it. So first statement is correct. Third is in 2019, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman became the second woman to have presented the budget after Indira Gandhi. That she is the second woman to present after Indira Gandhi. That is also correct. But second statement, former Prime Minister Morarji Desai holds the record for presenting the most budget. Now this is factual. If you don't know it, it will become for you difficult to solve. This is correct. He has presented around 10 budgets, whereas Nirmala Sitharaman and I think Mr. Chidambaram, they both have presented 9 budgets. Okay? So all the statements here are correct. Next, with reference to majority of the questions are static with respect to the concept mentioned in the budget. Static questions have been asked. So with reference to the debt market in the economy, consider the following. It is the market where fixed income, it is the market where the fixed income securities of various types and features are issued and traded. What do you think? Debt market? Yes, it's a debt market. So it will have basically the fixed income securities. Correct. Second, it can be issued by commercial entities like financial, commercial entities like financial institutions. So that is also correct. Yes, I think this is better. Yes. Question number this view is not good. What has happened? Let's see this one. You have the question papers in front of you anyway. Yes, very good. So question number 3, consider the following statements with reference to Economic Survey 24-25. Now here, whatever is, let's see this. India accounts for the 7th largest share in the global services export. See, this year also in the budget, in the economic survey, they have mentioned the ranking of India. So ranking up with respect to few things we should know. So globally, India accounts for the 7th largest share in global services. That is factual. Since India is very strong in services, you can make a note of this particular fact. Second, agriculture and light activity sector contributes 45% of the GDP. That is absolutely incorrect. So second statement is incorrect. Third is in financial year 24, the Indian automobiles domestic sales grew by 12.5%. It is lesser than that. This is quite factual. You may not have known this, right? So you cannot guess it over here. Not lesser than 12.5. It is actually 12.5. Yes, this is correct. Statement 3 is correct. It is equal to 12.5. So the correct answer would be B. That is 2 only. Sorry. Got it right. That's good. Let's move on to the this. Let me just open in a new view. I think this is the test. Yes, it opens in the same view. Anyway, question 4. Consider the following statements regarding the Union Budget 25-26. So here, yes, first statement is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Sabka Saath was the theme of this year's budget. That year's budget theme was this. This is basically 25-26 they are talking about. Second, the budget recognizes 4 engines of development: agriculture, MSME, investment and exports. Both are correct. This year's theme also you should know the 3 pillars that I told you yesterday. Question 5th, consider the following statements regarding she-marts. Now, she-mart is what? Yes, what does it do? She-marts, what they will do? Yes, they will provide the marketing access. They will market the products. They will not be providing the self-help group provides what? Loans is what they provide. So first they are planned as government-run wholesale markets for self-help groups. They will not be wholesale markets. What they will do is provide women entrepreneurs with better market access, branding opportunities, sustainable income. That is what they will provide. So it will not be like an APMC mandi for agricultural produce. It will not be like that. It will simply be helping them out to market the product. Like the government helps the tribal products to be marketed on the website, right? The government helps the organic products to be marketed through a certification, but there is no specific market that the government has created, correct? So statement first is incorrect, statement 2 will be correct. So correct answer here will be B. That is, I think B, yes, B, that is 2 only. Right, next, with reference to cardamom. Now again, this is factual. Cardamom, it belongs to the same botanical family as ginger and turmeric. That's correct. India is not the world's largest. India is the second largest producer of cardamom. First is, I think, Guatemala. Guatemala is the first. India is second largest producer of cardamom. When you know this, you will get the answer C, 1 and 3. That means Kerala is the largest cardamom producing state in India. Kerala would be very good. Makes sense. Okay. Next, what is the primary objective of Prime Minister's Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana introduced in budget 25-26? They were working on the aspirational district concept. Take 100 districts, yes, and then develop them. So what is the correct answer here? Enhancing, B, enhancing agricultural productivity in 100 low yield districts. And also remember, they will take the lowest of the low districts, but minimum one district from every state has to be there in that scheme. Right, next, with reference to the cotton production and consumption in India, consider the following statements. So cotton, I think we have discussed in one of our class that India's cotton production productivity is not that high. Anyway, first, India is the second largest consumer of cotton in the world. That is correct. Second, Odisha and Tamil Nadu are not known for producing cotton. That is incorrect. Lot of states are known. In fact, Odisha and Tamil Nadu are the states which are known for producing cotton. So it was not that factual also, this particular statement. So 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect. Correct option is A, 1 only. Next, with reference to securities transaction tax, consider the following statement. It's a direct tax levied on the purchase and sale of securities listed on recognized stock exchanges. Yes. It is not applied if there is a loss. Incorrect. Even if there is a loss, it will be applied. We have seen that yesterday. It is deducted at the time of securities transaction itself. That is also correct. So B, only 2 statements are correct over here. Next, consider the following statements. India is the largest producer of pulses in the world. See, certain things we should know. See, India is the largest producer of the pulses. India is the largest consumer of the pulses. This question being asked because we know that India imports pulses. So we may think that India may not be the largest producer of pulses, but it is. It is the largest producer, it is the largest consumer also, and that is why we have to still import around 20%, 20 to 25% of our consumption needs. Okay? So first statement, I believe is yes, it is correct. Second, Uttar Pradesh is the largest producer of pulses. Uttar Pradesh is not. I think Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra would be there. Madhya Pradesh and second is Maharashtra. Okay? Yes. First is Madhya Pradesh, second is Maharashtra for the pulses. Uttar Pradesh will come in sugarcane, for example. Yes. Okay? So answer will be A, that is 1 only. Next, this will be easy. With reference to retail inflation, consider the following. Retail inflation, they are seeing. What is WPI doing here? Let's see. Acha, this one. Acha, 11th. Okay. 11th is consider the following statements regarding makhana. It is also known as fox nuts. Yes, harvested from the Ural ferox plant. See, one thing I'll tell you. Now here there are 2 statements. Okay? So if you have to guess based on, let's say you know this and you are dependent on this. So if UPSC is giving 2 facts in those statements, first fact would be easier, second would be difficult. So if you have to guess, assume that the second one, which is more micro level, would be correct. If you know that the first one is correct. Does that make sense? But only do this when you are guessing with 2 options remaining. Don't try to guess the entire answer that way. So it is also known as fox nuts and is harvested from Ural ferox plant. Second, West Bengal alone contributes. That is incorrect. Bihar, it was prominently in news. Makhana board established in Bihar. So A will be the correct answer here. Okay. Next, 12th, with reference to retail inflation, consider the following statements. It refers to the increase in prices of goods and services that consumer purchase, typically measured using the WPI, that is absolute. It refers to increase in price of goods and services that the consumers purchase, typically using the WPI. Also, they are saying with respect to retail inflation. It is CPI. It's not going to be WPI. Consumer inflation at the consumer end, at the retailer end. Okay? So one is incorrect. RBI's inflation targeting is 4% with a tolerance of plus minus 2. That is correct. So B, only 2 will be correct over here. Next, Union Budget 25-26 announced Swami Fund. So this was, I think, 1 year back. Yes, Swami Fund. It is to offer, second option B, to offer debt financing for completing stressed and stalled residential projects. It is for to offer debt financing for completing stressed and stalled projects. So this is a scheme. What is the function of the scheme? You should know that. That is what they have directly asked. Next, simple question. Union Budget 25-26, the government of India announced the establishment of Makhana board in Bihar. We know that. Next, 15th, Bihar, correct. 15th is with reference to the gig and platform economy in India, consider the following statements. Let me stand here. The Code on Social Security 2020 provides social security measures for gig workers and platform workers. Yes, it provides that. Second, Union Budget has announced healthcare coverage under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana for online platform workers as well. That is also correct. So, yes, please, any questions? If you have any questions, please ask. Question 16th. Consider the following ways by which the union government can finance its deficit. How the union government can finance its deficit. Number 1, borrowing from the public. Yes. Which one? Okay, fair enough. Second, withdrawing cash balance held with the Reserve Bank of India. Can they do that? Cash balance held with the Reserve Bank of India? Yes, that is the drawdown on the surplus. Okay? That is, so 2 will be correct. Third, borrowing directly from the Reserve Bank of India. Yes, through ways and means advances. That can also be done. Very good. This was related to banking chapter. A financial market chapter, we can say. Next, statement 1, a sustain. No, that's incorrect. Okay. Now here, consider the following statement. Statement 1, a sustained high fiscal deficit can lead to the crowding out of the private investment in the economy. That is absolutely right. Why that happens? Because interest rate would increase or the fund would not be remaining. So second statement, an increase in government borrowing tends to raise interest rates because too much demand for loans. Now amount of loan is same. So people will increase the interest rate. That will crowd out the private sector. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is correct, and 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. Okay. Next, question 18. With reference to the receipts of the government of India, consider the following statements. I'll read it from here. Okay. Statement 1. Revenue receipts are non-redeemable and do not create liability for the government. Yes. Non-redeemable. If I have given, I cannot redeem it back, and it does not create any liability. Next, capital receipts either create liability or reduce financial assets. That is correct. Dividends and profits from PSUs fall under revenue receipts, while disinvestment proceeds fall under capital receipts. That is correct. Okay. PSUs profit, so revenue receipt. Nothing is, asset is not being reduced, liability is not being created. But if you sell the PSU, it was going to be the capital receipt. So all the statements here are correct. Question 19. With reference to the government of India's disinvestment policy, consider the following statements. Statement 1. Strategic disinvestment involves sale of entire or substantial government shareholding. Yes, it does. That is what strategic disinvestment is. Second, privatization is a type of strategic disinvestment where CPSE, equity and management are transferred to the private buyer. Yes. Third, the minority stake sale transfers management control. It does not transfer management control if it is a minority stake. Right, 5%, 10%, it's a minority stake, you do not transfer the management control. So statement 3 is incorrect. The correct option would be A, 1 and 2. 20th, very simple question is what they had given. ठीक है, अरे क्या चालू हो जा रहा है, ठीक है. What question they have given? They have said total expenditure. Total expenditure is 40 lakh crore. Revenue receipt is 20 lakh crore. Right, non-debt creating capital receipt is 5 lakh crore, and interest payment is 6 lakh crore, and revenue expenditure is basically 28 lakh crore. So what they are asking, first the fiscal deficit. So fiscal deficit equals what? Total expenditure. We saw that formula, total expenditure minus revenue receipts minus plus non-debt creating capital receipts. So 20 plus 5. So this is 40 minus 25. This is 15. So statement 1 is correct. Primary deficit is 9. So primary deficit equals fiscal deficit minus interest payment. So this is 9. Then the revenue deficit is 8 lakh. So revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt is 28 minus 20, that is 8 lakh. So revenue deficit is 8 lakh. That is also correct. All statements are correct. Okay. Next. Next is with reference to fiscal policy, consider the following statements. Expansionary fiscal policy leads to budget deficits, whereas contractionary fiscal policy is characterized by budget surplus. Yes, that is correct. Expansionary fiscal policy will lead to more and more of deficit. Correct? What have you marked? Not marked. Okay, so statement 1 is correct. Statement 2, expansionary fiscal policy is generally used during inflation. No, this is used during slowdown, during recession is when it is used. You got it incorrect?
Actually, I got notes. Finally, I not attended it.
It's very straightforward things, right? So 21st, A is the correct answer. 22nd, according to Union budget has recently emphasized the need to promote usage of infrastructure project development fund. What is the primary objective? Very good. To finance. See, that year's budget has a predominance on PPP, public-private partnership. Right. So the correct answer is option B, to finance development expenses for potential PPP projects. 23rd. 23rd. Which of the following would be classified as foreign direct investment inflows into India? Establishment of new production facility in India by a foreign entity? Yes. Acquisition of 20% equity? Yes. 10% or more is FDI. Okay. Third is purchase of Indian government securities? No, that is indirect. Purchasing the government security is indirect. So third is indirect. 1 and 2 is correct. Option C, 1 and 2. Next, consider the following expenditures of the government of India. Payment of interest on borrowings by what have they asked at the end? How many of the above are classified as revenue expenditure? First is payment of interest on borrowings is a revenue expenditure. Payment of interest, you are paying, so receipt, it cannot be receipt. You are paying, na? No, you are paying the interest on the borrowing. When you pay the principal, that's a capital receipt. If I have taken 1 lakh rupees of loan, every month just the interest is 10,000. I pay 10,000 only. Does my liability go down? No, my liability of the loan is still 1 lakh rupees. Is that correct? Liability will go down only if I pay the principal amount. Does that make sense? You know how the bonded labor works? They would give loan of 10,000 rupees to someone, a poor person, at 100% per month of interest rate. So 10,000 rupees is the principal and 10,000 rupees every month is the interest. The person keeps on paying the interest throughout their life. Their principal never comes down. Right? So liability will never come down unless and until you pay the principal amount. Is that clear to everyone?
If it is with payment of just borrowings, not interest,
then you can say, because they are generally saying कि payment of the loan, is it capital expenditure? Yes, because principal will be there. But if they are specifically saying payment of interest on borrowings, payment of interest on borrowings by the government, it is what? It is revenue expenditure. First statement is revenue expenditure. Second, grants to state governments for social welfare schemes, yes, revenue expenditure. Third, expenditure on construction of national highways, capital asset will be created. Investment in shares of public sector undertakings, again asset is increased. Third and fourth will lead to increase in the asset. So they are capital expenditure. First and second are revenue expenditure. So correct option is B, only 2. Okay? You got it right?
So I got it right. My logic was wrong, but answer right.
Chalo, theek hai. Consider the following statements regarding the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003. It aims to ensure intergenerational equity in fiscal management by improving debt management. Correct? The central government may breach deficit limits only under specified grounds. That is peace clause, yes. So both statements are correct. 24, let me check. B, 2 only. First and 2 were revenue expenditure, remaining 2 were capital expenditure. Okay, let's move ahead to 26th. In the context of budget, effective revenue deficit refers to what? D, the difference between revenue deficit and grants for creation of capital assets. Whatever we did yesterday, the exact same thing is there. And trust me, I have not seen the paper. Because that is what they will ask. And majorly it is static also. Okay? So option D is correct here. 27, with reference to the zero-based budgeting, consider the following statement. It puts accountability on spenders to justify expenses each time. Because you have taken it down to 0, now you have to justify every time. The budget allocation is designed to be lower than the previous budget. Nothing like that. It can be more also. You will not pre-decide that the budget will be lower. If you already pre-decide, then your entire budget this year will be less than the entire budget in the previous year. It does not make sense. 27th, option A, 1 only is correct. 28th, Union Budget has proposed the second asset monetization plan. Asset monetization plan 2.0 is there. Whatever the assets are there, the places of the government, utilize it to generate money. That is what it is. It involves leasing existing brownfield infrastructure assets to private entities to generate revenue for new infrastructure development. That is correct. So using whatever is, left vacant, unutilized, you will use that, monetize that, generate income from that, and whatever income comes will be used to develop new infrastructure. Second, it includes transfer of ownership. No, there will be no transfer of ownership. You are simply renting it out, leasing it out, you are not selling it out. So statement 1 alone is correct, option A. This is very simple. Question 2029. In the context of Union Budget 25-26, consider the following. It will give actual data of 23-24, right? Provisional data of 24-25 and budgetary estimates of 25-26. So all 3 statements are correct. C, all 3. Next, question 30. Consider the following with respect to Indian economy. Union budget is prepared by Department of Expenditure. No. Union budget and economic survey are prepared by the same department, same ministry, Department of Economic Affairs under Ministry of Finance. Both are basically prepared by the same. It's just that economic survey is under the guidance of the economic advisor. Okay? So statement 2 is correct. Statement 1 is incorrect. Which of the following documents are presented to the Parliament every year by the Union government under the mandate of the FRBM Act? Now, even if you don't know, I told you few documents, but there are few more. Even if you don't know, the finance bill is not because of the FRBM Act. Finance bill is mentioned in the constitution, right? It is presented every year under the budget, basically. Article 110, finance bill. It is as per the constitution. So 4 will be incorrect. You are left with 2 options, right? Now look at the first one, demands for grant. Demands for grant has nothing to do with the FRBM Act. Demands for grant is what? You vote on the demands for grant of each ministry. FRBM Act is just for fiscal deficit and stuff, right? First is related to budget. Fourth is related to budget. That means first and fourth both are related to the annual financial statement. So 1 and 4 will be incorrect. The only option left is option B, that is 2 and 3. Okay. Surely. Next, 32. A government allocates additional funds to build a new highway instead of investing the same amount in primary healthcare. Very good. The opportunity cost of this decision is yes. Yes, the healthcare improvements that could have been achieved with the same fund would not be achieved. So option B is correct. 31st ka it was option B. Okay, 32nd also option B. Option B is like favorite, it seems. 33. Suppose in a particular year the government of India reports a high fiscal deficit but the share of revenue deficit within it is very large. What does this situation imply? The government is borrowing mainly to finance capital expenditure? No. The government is borrowing mainly to finance its consumption expenditure? Yes. But let's look at other options. Government is reducing its stock of debt and interest liabilities? No. Government's borrowing is being fully financed by non-debt creating capital? No. Fully financed and all, this is extreme statement. So correct option is option B. The government is borrowing mainly to finance the consumption expenditure. 34th. Consider the following regarding debt to GDP ratio in an economy. Statement 1. It measures the country's ability to repay its debt relative to its economic output. Yes, yes, debt to GDP ratio. The lower it is, the more ability you have to repay it. Second, it indicates the borrowing requirement of the government in a particular year. No, it rather tells how much you have already borrowed. It does not tell you the borrowing requirement. Tax to GDP ratio, right? So basically, or debt to GDP ratio. So how much debt divided by how much GDP? It does not tell me the requirement of the borrowing. It just tells me how much I have borrowed already. So 1 is correct, but 2 is incorrect. You directly get the answer, option C, 1 and 3. Third statement is a higher ratio indicates potential fiscal stress and may increase the country's borrowing costs. I have told you yesterday that 55.6% it is, India wants to lower it. Okay? 35th, let's move on to 35th. Yes. Which of the following are the changes made in government budgeting to make it more effective, efficient and effective? Restructuring of the centrally, this is very simple. Look at the third statement. Classification into plan, non-plan expenditure. It was there previously. Plan expenditure, non-plan expenditure. That classification has been done away with, because that used to not be efficient, because non-plan expenditure were considered to be expenditure which will not create anything. So there was a psychological issue with respect to classifying expenditure into plan and non-plan. Few years back we have stopped that classification. It is no longer there. You don't even have to worry whether what it does, because it's no longer existing. So third statement is incorrect. Correct statement is option A, 1 and 2. Restructuring of centrally sponsored schemes? Yes. Merger of railway and general budget? Yes. That is also correct. Question 36. The primary objective of Mahatma Gandhi Gram Swaraj initiative, Khadi, handloom and handicraft. Let's say you don't know it. Rural housing and infrastructure, possible. Agriculture and food processing, Gandhi ji not related to food processing. Okay? But don't guess it, you should know this. Because cooperatives and self-help groups can be a possibility, right? That can be definitely be. Okay? Yes. Achha, you have put that, you have guessed that. But Khadi is the first. But see, I am doing it in the hindsight. Yes.
I went because Khadi is very expensive, so going at rural level, I don't know if it is possible. So
Makes sense, makes sense.
It sounds more,
Okay, fair enough. So correct answer here is option C, Khadi, handloom and handicrafts.
At first I was very tempted to go just because I saw Khadi and I thought that is very expensive nowadays.
No, but you wear half only, na? So that saves money. Okay? Write down 37. With reference to union budget, consider the following statements. Statement 1. Capital expenditure results in the creation of assets. Yes. Right? Loans to public enterprises are treated as revenue expenditure. No. That is, you are giving loans to public, so it is not going to be revenue. It has nothing to do with revenue. Loan will include the principal amount also. ठीक है. Third, cash grants in aid from foreign countries are classified as revenue receipts. Yes. So 1 and 3. Right, option A. Next is 38. Grameen credit score announced in the union budget will be applicable for all of them. Self-help group, marginalized people, farmers, all the three. ठीक है. Grameen credit score. Next, 39. With reference to tax to GDP ratio, consider the following statements. It can indicate the capacity of government to operate without borrowing funds. Tax to GDP ratio. It can indicate the capacity of the government to operate without borrowing fund. If the tax to GDP ratio is high, that means the government is collecting a huge amount of revenue. So it can indicate, not tell you exactly, it can indicate. Second, it can reflect the share of national income utilized for government spending. It can indicate the national income utilized for government spending. Yes, see, the idea is whatever is your GDP, what part of it is coming out at tax, that can be utilized for the nation's spending. Okay, it's a very indirect question, subjective, but yes, both are correct. Question 48, I think factual question again. With reference to National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development, consider the following. It is regulated by Ministry of Finance. No, it is regulated by RBI. Everything is going to be.
And with environments as well, whenever there is a ministry given, most often than not it is wrong.
Ha, good. Very good. That is good. Okay. So anyhow, it's regulated by RBI. Any type of bank regulated by RBI. If not regulated by RBI, if in a bank, it is no regulation at all. Second, it aims to enhance the development of bonds and derivative market in India for infrastructure financing. Yes, that is what its purpose is. So option B is correct. Question 41. Which of the following are correct regarding the Income Tax Act of 2025? Introduced a new concept of a tax year. Yes. It provides that taxpayers can claim the refunds in the case of belated returns also. Yes. Previously, if you are filing the returns late, you cannot ask for the refund if there is a mismatch. Now, even if you are filing it late and there is a refund, you can still ask for a refund. So second is also correct. It defined cryptocurrency as taxable asset. Yes, it's a taxable asset. It is not legal, but the government has not talked about whether you can trade or not, but it has said, I have told in the class that if you make profit out of it, it will be taxed. So all statements are correct. 42nd, which of the following mentioned below are true about foreign portfolio investment? Statement 1, it involves active investors. No, it involves basically passive investors. Passive investors are those investors which invest through someone else. Active investors are those investors which invest directly. So statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2, it is an indirect investment method. Yes. It doesn't include technology transfer. Yes, it does not include technology transfer. What does this mean? If I am investing in your country, right? So I may also transfer the technology for the production of whatever. If I am establishing a factory of Apple manufacturing phones, for example, all the entire technology is also transferred in that case. Is that clear? Because I am going to be directly owning it. I am going to be directly doing the business. So technology will also come to the nation. Okay? Whereas if you invest in shares and all that, you don't get any access to technology. Okay? So it doesn't include technology transfer. That is correct. It involves investing in securities outside the country. That is also correct. So option is C, 2, 3 and 4. Next, AI Kiran initiative recently seen in news. ISRO.
Because I remember them talking about
Initiative.
also sending an AI.
Initiative launched by Indian Space Research Organization to develop AI-powered satellite. They would do that, but under this AI Kiran scheme, it is the initiative to build a vibrant cross-functional AI community for women across the domains. So AI Kiran is specifically for women. See, now every department and everyone is relating it themselves to AI. So be very clear which scheme or which concept is for whom. So C is the correct option. Next, consider the following statements. Statement 1, labor force includes all the people in the working age group of 15 to 59. That is incorrect. Very good. Very good. That is incorrect. Who marked it correct? That is incorrect. It does not include all of them. It includes people able to work, willing to work. Some may get the job, some may not get the job. Full-time UPSC aspirants, you are in the working age group. Are you a part of the labor force? You are not, because you are able to work, but you are not willing to work. That's the first thing I told in the employment chapter, right? So first is incorrect. Second, worker population ratio is defined as the percentage of employed persons in the population. Yes, that is correct. 45th, with reference to direct and indirect taxes, the burden of direct taxes can be shifted. Absolutely incorrect. The redistribution function of the government budget is achieved through progressive income taxation. Yes. Corporate tax is type of indirect. No, it's direct. So option A, only one is correct. 46th, how many of the following central government liabilities constitute the public debt in India? Internal debt, yes. External debt, yes. Public account liabilities, yes. All three. Public account, basically it's our money with the government. It's a liability on the government which the government has to pay back. I hope they do. Let's continue. Next. Yeah, because they are using it in the market now, they may not have it and they may say we don't have any money. Anyway, 47. Which of the following can be accounted as capital receipts in the annual financial statement? 1. Loans received from the foreign government. See, now they are mentioning only loans, so yes, that will be a capital receipt. Second, borrowings by the government through the sale of the treasury bill. Borrowing of the government through the sale of the treasury bill. Let us look at the borrowing of the government. Borrowing of the government through treasury bill is like a loan that we are taking. That is correct. It's a loan that we are taking. It's the loan that the government is taking. So second is also correct. Third, collection and appropriation of direct taxes. No. That is revenue receipt. So 3 is anyhow incorrect. Correct option will be A, 1 and 2 alone. While calculating GDP by expenditure method, which of the following factors is not taken into account? G? Very good. Expenditure on the intermediate goods are not accounted for. Option C. 49th. With reference to per capita income, consider the following statements. It is typically calculated by dividing GDP by the total population. Yes. It often hides inequalities in distribution of income. Yes, it does. Both are correct. Last, consider the following statements with reference to consumer durables. Television, refrigerators are consumer durables. Yes. All of them are called capital goods. Incorrect. All of them are not capital goods. Okay? Anyone got more than 40 right? You might have yet to be calculated, right? 50. Yes, please be, just a minute, I can't hear you, just a minute. Yes, please tell me.
The 46th question is answered.
46th, okay, just hold on. 46th, the correct answer. How many of the following central government liabilities constitute public debt? All of them. So C, all three. C, all three. What happened? 15th. 15th is both, right? 15th is both. Both are correct. What explanation? The Code on Social Security 2020 provides social security measures for gig workers and platform workers. Yes. See, gig workers and platform workers were not having any social security. Previous budget talked about providing social security for them. They are talking about providing provident fund for them. Right? So that is being talked. Provident fund is what? It will act as a social security. So the amount can be saved and later on they can get that amount, a concept similar to the provident fund. Okay. Second, it has announced healthcare coverage, and yes, so they don't even have insurance, etc. So under Ayushman Bharat, they will be given insurance cover. Okay. Chaliye.